Thank you for coming in. Um, if you could, just don't forget to hit that like, just to help the video try to get out because the YouTube algorithm's killing the channel. I don't know. I know that a lot of people report say, "Well, your like button's not working," and I understand that. And you guys are a wonderful group of people, and I just appreciate everybody that's here and all the new subscribers and all the wonderful people who have joined the channel's little membership to help me kind of keep this thing going financially. I take day. If you're new to this channel, I actually run a business, and so I take time out of my day to make these videos because I really care about this country. I care about you, and I'm trying to help change a narrative that's headed in the wrong direction. Even with our President Trump, they're working double time to try to keep what they got going, and the Ukraine war is a good example of that. The Elon Musk, there's a lot of people who are, have an opinion both ways. I get people, do you trust him? And they ask me stuff, and at this point, it's been very hard to trust anybody, because we've seen where we've worked really, really, really hard to try to get leaders that we like in, and then they kind of defect to the other side. And we know Elon does a lot of really interesting things with technology that's just concerning to me. But then again, if you look at the bigger picture, there's a couple of things that kind of go. This technology moves forward. So who's got it, what they're going to do with it, their intentions, that's where it's really at. And I hear Elon talk more about pro-life, preservation of humans, not the annihilation of humans. And that message kind of, it's a better way to go. So I'm just gonna put my faith into what I see right now and just keep an eye on things. And so this video is Elon, where they had the Department of Government Efficiency team interviewed on Fox News, and they're going to ask him about Senator Mark Kelly and his intentions. And this video, this little segment, it really, 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 grabbed my attention. And I want you to watch this and his response, and then who's virtue signaling, and then who's actually putting policy and reality in effect to usefulness. Let's dig into this real quick. And like I say, thank you guys.
I think somebody should care about the interests of the United States above the interests of another country. And If they don't, they're a traitor.
Yeah, but he's a decorated veteran, a former astronaut, a sitting U.S. senator.
It doesn't mean it's okay for him to put the interests of another country above America.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
Obviously, there are some Republicans who think supporting Ukraine is the right thing still, but there is a battle back and forth about how do you think it comes to an end?
Well, I think there will be a negotiated peace, and the thing that we should be concerned about is we should have empathy for the thousands of people that are dying every day in trenches, for no movement in the lines. So the borders remain the same. For the past 2 years, thousands of people have died every week for nothing.
He's talking about the meat grinder. There's just a meat grinder in Ukraine.
I take great offense at those who put the appearance of goodness over the reality of it. Those who virtue signal and say, oh, we can't give in to Russia, but have no solution to stopping thousands of kids dying every day. They just want that to continue forever. I have contempt for such people. I don't want to make that clear.
Yeah. So you're optimistic.
Because they're virtue signaling, and their lack of a solution means that kids don't have a father. It means that parents lost a son. For what?
The video goes on to talk about, Trump's plan, and, it's better than anybody else's. And Elon talks about that. He says, to sum it up real quick, he said, yeah, it's better than what everybody else was trying to do here, which is prolong what's happening. You've got right now, as we speak, that Zelensky guy's, calling for death to Putin and escalating what's happening, doing everything he can to cling to his power. This is the same thing that Netanyahu did, except for he followed through with it. He enabled a terrible thing to happen to a group of people on both sides because of the fact that now you've got both sides over there fighting. And I'm not getting involved in any of that. I just know that America needs to stay out of it because it was a manufactured crisis over there. Just pretty much what's happening in Ukraine, except for they're using, oh, it's God's country, we got to protect God's country. Well, that's, my apologies to the people who watch this channel and don't understand the fact that that's not the real Israel. That's a manufactured Israel by the elites, by the Rothschilds. It's a sanctuary Israel for the really, really, really awful and evil ones who call us all goyim, who hate us, by the way. So it's just a way for us to step on rakes so that America can get all the bad talking points of like, what they did, look at what they did. We need to stop with that mess. We need to be back. We need to be just like Elon says. We need to be concerned about America. Stay out of that crap. It's just a rake to step on. Innocent people. My heart goes out to those innocent people. So just to clear the record, it's sad to say, but this is just an instance to where you've seen a manifestation of the globalists and what they've been putting forth an effort to for many years for the long game to try to, rein in humanity so that they can all control us. And if you don't believe it, you'll see it. Mark Kelly, you see standing right there, is a controlled idiot. I was a spaceman. I was an astronaut. I put on a spacesuit. My eyes are so close together, it looks like I've been inbred and possibly could be messing with your children. Anybody with eyes that close together, something's going on genetically that's not right. If you look at the guy, you can tell he's not all there. I mean, yeah, he was an astronaut. Yeah, he probably did whatever. He's a senator. If you actually look into how he became senator in Arizona with their totally secure elections, yeah, you'll see why he's a senator, all right. And what he's doing in his policies, yeah, you'll see why you'll see why the elections in Arizona allowed him to become such. That's really the case. He's not, if you were to actually have a real election in Arizona where they had secure elections and have a real candidate who was geared towards the people, you'd see who would actually win, and it wouldn't be Mark Kelly by far. And he's an evil man. He's a globalist. He's, gosh knows what he does in his spare time. Just looking at him, he just looks like a diddler. Anyhow, I got another little thing that's dealing with Doge, and it talks about your Social Security has been up to. Your Social Security, over half of the calls that go into the Social Security office are actually calls from trying to scam Social Security Administration into stealing your money. And the Doge people have found this out. And it's awful ironic. People like Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, say that, oh, Elon's stealing your money. He's stealing your money. No. He's taking our money back from those people who stole it from us. Because all this money that gets stolen from Social Security gets funneled right back to people like Elizabeth Warren, Senator Mark Kelly, Obama's in his rent riots. Anyways, watch this here.
I'll say make Social Security are helping people that legitimately get benefits, protect them from fraud that they experience every day on a routine basis, and also make the experience better. And I'll give you one example. Is at Social Security, one of the first things we learned is that they get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So when you want to change your bank account, you can call Social Security. We learned 40% of the phone calls that they get are from fraudsters.
40%?
That's right. Almost half.
Yes, and they steal people's Social Security is what happens. Is they call in, they say they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day, and then somebody doesn't receive their Social Security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes.
I'm bringing this stuff to you because I want you to understand what the real narrative is, what they're trying to do. And whenever criminals get put out there on blast, they typically, do their best to claim their innocence, to claim they did nothing wrong, and then basically their fight back is to project. And Ilhan Omar, who we know has committed immigration fraud openly, and for some reason nothing's being done about that, because of the signal leak. By the way, people don't, anybody that really knows what this signal thing was, it was implemented by the Biden regime and used on a regular basis. Matter of fact, even Obama used it too, because it's so easily infiltratable. And whether or not the Trump administration knew that or not, they were just going by protocol because that was how they, that's what their policy was with leaders. And, there's a good chance that these signal apps have been infiltrated for a long time, allowing key information to get out. But in this case, there was nothing really classified that got out. There was no coordinates for strikes. There was no timeline. There was anything that was classified was not talked about on this meeting. So technically, there was no real violation other than the fact that there was just somebody on there that shouldn't have been there. And by the way, the guy who was in there, that reporter, if you are actually tapped into something that looks kind of wonky, like, wait a minute, what am I doing in here? I should probably back out. But he managed to stay in and just keep his little grubby hands in there so that it gives him talking points. And the leak is from within the Trump administration, by the way. They need to figure out who this was. But the fact of the matter is done is done. You've got some corrupt judge who's got serious conflicts of interest, that Boseberg Diddler guy who's going to now head off the case and not allow any evidence exculpatory evidence to be brought to the table, and just hammer out a guilty verdict, and then that'll give them grounds to try to do impeachment. And you've got this immigration fraud chick right here who's running Minneapolis or Minnesota into her district into the ground, displaced all the original people that lived there and put a bunch of her people there, speaks with a hack. That's how she talks. An open, hates America, is geared every part of her ability to move America policy to benefit her people, her country, not Americans, is now going to try to impeach Hegseth and several others, John Ratcliffe, Michael Waltz, and all these people. And it was all designed to do that. This was because Trump was making such great headway. They said, how can we put a roadblock in his momentum? How can we do that? And so they'd been infiltrating signal apps. You probably could look back and see this if there was actual real investigation. By the way, speaking of real investigation, calls have been brought upon for Pam Bondi to actually investigate the GBI strategies thing. That was where they found a bunch of guns and money and credit cards and debit cards that were being given out to people who are doing these ballot things. You're going to find that out pretty soon. That was in Dana Nessel's district, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But anyhow, so Ilhan Omar is going to try to flex her muscle, which, by the way, she shouldn't have any at all. She should be deported. She committed immigration fraud, marrying her brother to get him in this country. And God knows what else she did with her brother and her cousin and her uncle and a horse and a goat. Anyways, just figured I'd get that out there, guys. Thank you for watching. And, as I plead, try to share this out to get this stuff to get back up. The algorithm they've turned my channel off, doing their best to kind of keep my voice from being heard because they don't like a regular guy out there talking about real stuff. It resonates with people. And you guys are wonderful that make sure that you look for my content. And I'll be cutting a live at some point, probably around 11:30 today, and we're going to talk a little bit more about GBI strategies and stuff. So thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Take it easy, and I'm out.